Welcome to another Road to Hollywood. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a very exciting show tonight, as always. We're going to go deep inside the music, the film, the TV business, talk about the use of music in a multimedia way. Today, we've got a special guest. His name is Matt McGuire. He is the CEO of MusicWorks and a very accomplished composer, producer of music. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And always, we have a special guest in the studio as a co-host. You know him from past shows. He is a very accomplished musician, executive in the industry, and a real spark plug behind IES. It is Scott Page.
Thank you very much. Spark plug. I had never been called a spark plug before.
Well, we make fire happen here. It's again, we're talking about the uses of music. There's never been more opportunities in music. You're seeing it from greeting cards to toys to all that. So when we talk about the recline of the music business, the old records and CDs and all that, it's really being funneled in a number of different ways. The more and more uses in technology. We've got South by Southwest going on right now. There's announcements every hour. New technology, the Googles and the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the Microsofts, all these companies are seeing not only expansive new areas, but new challengers. There are major companies getting into this space right now, and music is a major driver. So again, I think that entertainment has a brighter future than ever, especially independently minded. For those companies that used to try and control the business, the record companies, the movie studios, the 3 or 4 TV networks, now the cat is out of the bag. There is literally thousands of players out there that are using music to, of course, entertain the audience. So, Matt, please tell us about your background, how you got involved in music and what led you to do music for a living.
Well, I started out as a player. I started taking piano lessons. My sister was taking piano, and she didn't really take to it, and I started plunking around the piano and kind of took to it. So I didn't like it after about, 6 or 7 months, and my parents said, give it a year, and if you don't like it, you can quit. So I liked it. I liked it after a year and stuck with it. And that was my entry into I wasn't thinking about the music business. I wasn't thinking about a career in it. I was just kind of following what I was really enjoying at the time, and that was playing music and playing in bands and that kind of thing.
Did girls have anything to do with that?
Well,
just checking.
Not as much as you might think. It was but there was just a lot of enjoyment playing with the guys, and I got off heavily into jazz in the very beginning, and so that wasn't so much a girl thing. Jazz is, it was more. There's a smaller audience for jazz, and so I wasn't like doing the rock thing or funk or that kind of stuff until later on. But I started very at the very first with classical, then I went into jazz, and then. After that, I lived in San Francisco, so I'm a Bay Area boy, and then got introduced to the funk scene over in Oakland, and a lot of heavy cats came out of that scene. Back Tower Power and all the guys up there playing some serious funk. So I was doing that for a while, and then I moved down to LA to pursue a music career, but I wasn't really thinking that I was, again, pursuing a career. It was more like I seem to have an affinity for this, and that's what I'm trying to do. So it kind of morphed into that, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about being a musician, I got to say. It's like it takes you over at such a level that you just do it because you love it so much. And then, some of us get lucky and we were able to make it through in the business, so that's great.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think if one was to think about what was involved in the business, look, there's a lot of really good guys out there. You're probably not going to make it. I think I wouldn't have said it. I had a blind sort of confidence that wasn't. I don't know if it was backed up by as much skill as I would like to believe. But other people seemed to think I was good enough. So I was just like, my attitude was, wait till they get a load of me, and that's what I thought. And it took a while for that to subside, until I met some really good players, and that was a nice wake up call, I should say.
Yeah.
Now, how did you gravitate towards doing, music for film and TV? How did you break through in that, and how has that developed for you?
Yeah. And what years was that when you started getting into it?
I'm not the best at answering questions about years, but I can tell you that is a good question. I started jazz wasn't really jazz is one of my deep loves, but it wasn't paying the bills as much as I would like, and so I got an opportunity to audition for Engelbert Humperdinck, and so I got that gig, and musically it wasn't a direction I thought I was going to be going in. But I ended up getting on the band and ultimately becoming the music director. And there were really good players in the band, so that was really fun. And I got we toured all around the world, did a bunch of that stuff, and I decided that two main things. I wasn't prepared to embrace the jazz lifestyle. Not too many people liking it, kind of a closed net kind of a situation. It's grown a little bit more now, and I'm happy about that. And also it was the road lifestyle that I thought, what, this isn't for me. I want to stay at home in Los Angeles, and sort of make my roots there. And that's when I said, I literally woke up one day. I was playing like casuals and doing that kind of thing. I had no money. My paycheck literally was going to the Bank of America and doing a credit card cash advance on my credit card for like $300. And I said, you know what? I'm a composer. And that was it. And I guess I wasn't really a composer because I didn't have any jobs, but I was a composer if you asked me. So that's when it started.
And what was your big break? What was your first placement, and what led to what you're doing now?
Well, I met a gal who it was a kind of a great combination because she wanted to rep me, and I had no experience and I had no jobs, but I did have gear because I bought everything with credit cards, so I had a bunch of cool stuff. And she said, I go, well, I don't know how to, I have no experience and I have no gigs. And she goes, well, I don't know how to rep anybody either. So, but she was willing to do it, and she made calls for me for free for an entire year. And then one day, during that time, I would have friends call me up and saying, "Hey, they're making this much money and this kind of stuff." And rather than being dissuaded by that, I was like, "Well, if they can do it, I think I can do it." So ultimately, she called one day and she went, "We have a gig." So that was like, in fact, it wasn't even "we have a gig." It was "I think we have a gig," which was opposed to an entire year of no's. And it was with ABC doing some. I think it was maybe a promo spot for Lois and Clark or something like that. But at the same time, it was literally like within that week, I got that call. I got a call from a company. Their name is Deke. They did a lot of animation. I got a call.
Animation,
I got a call from the VP, and she said, "Your demo has been sitting on my desk for I don't know how long, and do you have any idea how good it is?" And blah blah blah. And so she got me going with that whole thing. And then I had another company call me up, Frank Gehry. They do a ton of news music, and they've branched off into all different things now. And he called me up, and he's a great guy. And he literally said to me on the phone, "Do you have any idea how good you are?" And I was like, "This guy is not being straight with me right now. This is like an LA kind of a phone call." But he was actually being truthful. So those were and literally after it was a whole year of calling, and that all happened within 1 week. And I'm not kidding. It happened within a week.
Well, like they say, it's the perseverance. It's you can't be discouraged. If you believe in what you do, you got to stick with it. And that one door opened, and another one opened, and it's so often that snowball effect. We're in the studio with Matt McGuire. We're talking about film and music and movies and all that. We're going to come right back and talk to him more about the credits he's built, all this on an independent basis. And Scott Page and the whole crew, we're going to be talking about all the uses of music. It's the best time than ever to be in the independent entertainment business. Right now, we're going to go to our special friend, one of our IES speakers. His name is Dan Campbell. He's an author of over 20 major books on the industry. He's an expert in songwriting and production and networking and really moving your business forward. So again, it's a little preview of some of the great speakers you're going to be seeing at IES August 7th through the 11th. So this is Dan Campbell coming right back with more on the road to Hollywood.
Hello, I'm Dan Campbell. I'm an author, an educator, and a music journalist, and a person who goes to a lot of music business conferences. So one of the things that I always like to emphasize is that we are in a business of people skills, we are in a business of positive energy, and we are in a business of connecting to people that we feel are on the same plane that we are. So at any music business conference, it's always essential to keep your expectations in check. The idea of coming to an event like the event that you're at today is to open doors, it's to open windows, it's to open lines of communication. And as intriguing as it is to think that we can connect with the panelists or connect with the industry at large, a lot of times the most valuable contact you'll make at an event like this could be with the person sitting right next to you. So you always want to keep that in mind. Instead of looking up all the time, you want to look around you. You want to see who is in the environment that you're in, and you want to give a strong, positive energy. Also, you know, we're in a hype business, but if you want to tell people what you got going on, a really good way to do that is to first ask them who they are, why they're here, and what they've got going on. Also, if somebody asks you what kind of music you do or what you're about, having what I call an elevator pitch, and that's a little 20-second soundbite where somebody comes away with a strong impression of your confidence level and what kind of music you embrace, is a real good dynamic, a real good directive to go. So think about it. Think about what you want to present to other people and what you want them to know about you. Also, that positive energy. I can't emphasize enough how essential that is in a business that's built on music. And everybody wants to get on a train that's up and running, and people are emotional. So anytime that you give off a positive energy, you can do it with a smile, you can do it with eye contact, anything that you can do to make other people feel more comfortable is a really good way to go. Also, you're in the entertainment industry, so you want to be entertaining. And maybe it's something you're wearing. I'm a strong believer in like wearing weird little buttons everywhere I go, and those are for other people. Those are for other people to begin conversations with me based on something that I'm wearing. Might say, you know, what is that little cat you've got? I would say I got it in Tokyo the last time I was there. Oh, I was just in Japan, or I have friends in Japan. So these little human touches, as much as we like to think our music can dominate the world, a lot of times it starts on a much smaller level. And there's nothing stronger than two human beings in one place at one time under one environment. So use your people chops, use your personality, use everything that you've got going on, because before anybody buys you as a music industry professional, they have to buy you as a person. As Uncle Dan's saying, do right by yourself, and music is love.
Great. And give us a little advice. Obviously, the business has changed so much in the last few years. Everybody's kind of chasing their tail with all these new widgets and platforms and social media. When it comes really down to it, what areas do they need to concentrate on, whether you're a writer, an artist, or producer, to really create your own style, your own sound, and more importantly, your own business? As Pitbull just said yesterday at the Billboard Latin Conference, it's 90% business, 10% talent.
Okay, let me address that. Let me address it with an artist that you just referenced to me, which is Pitbull. And, you know, he's somebody that created it on his own. Pitbull is a type of an artist, and I think it's a really good paradigm for what's happening in the business right now, is that everybody, again, wants something that's already got a certain energy and a certain flow to it. So when your project is up and running, it's going to be a lot easier to bring in a corporate partner, an EMI or a Warner Brothers, because they don't have to do all the groundwork. One of the things we see in this environment is the concept of artist development is pretty much not in the hands of major entities anymore. It's in the hands of managers, it's in the hand of publishers, it's in the hands of artist development specialists. And our business has become very much a cottage industry. So whereas if you wanted to be in the industry back in the day, you might go in a huge tower, you might go to the Capitol Records Tower up the street. Now it might be some composer or producers like home in Encino, where part of your gig is going to be walking his Pomeranian dogs down the street. You have to think about the center of what this industry is and why other people want to become involved. Last week I did on-camera interviews, the ASCAP Pop Awards. I interviewed the writers and producers of the 60 most performed songs in that repertoire from the last year. None of those songs was written by one writer. Every one of those songs had multiple hands on it. So our business has become much more cooperative. And I always encourage people to play to their strengths. Maybe you're not the greatest guitar player in the world, but you're a really strong lyricist. Don't worry about what you don't do. There are other people, other components to do that. Work on your strengths. Obviously, the larger your toolbox is, the more possibilities you have. And sometimes creative people get so hung up on what they do, they don't realize that what other people suggest for them might be equally valid, In my own career, writing books, doing interviews, the things that I do, educating, none of those were my ideas. Those were all things that other people saw that I could do and had those ideas for me. And if somebody asks you if you can do something, say yes and then figure it out.
Thank you so much. That is Dan Campbell, one of the many, many speakers you'll be seeing at IES. Fact of the matter is there's going to be over 100 industry leaders, major league players in all parts of the business, running over 80 in-depth workshops, seminars, networking opportunities. Everyone that attends is going to have an opportunity to showcase what they do. And more importantly, there's one-on-one meetings and great honors. And we're going to be talking about some of the legends that we plan to honor this year. Again, our guest this week is Matt McGuire. He's the head of Music Works. He makes music for film and TV. And again, like Dan said, there's more opportunities than ever. You just got to get out there and make it happen. So again, our co-host this week is Scott Page. And amongst us, we probably have over 100 years experience, and
I'm sorry to hear that. Actually,
well, these
I don't know
days
if that's a compliment or
yeah. Well, these days it's really exciting because most people that have a lot of experience can't hang with the new media. They're gone. The new music business has blown thousands of people out of the water. All those guys that used to work at the Capitol and EMI and Chrysalis and Columbia, they're all gone. Very few of them had actually made the transition to what we do today. So IES is all about celebrating the independence, what goes on right now. And I did an incredible hour interview today with Chang Weisberg. He's the CEO and founder of Guerrilla Union. That's producing major tours, major festivals, completely independent today, not aligned or owned by any major corporations. And he's got massive sponsors. So we are here celebrating that. You're going to be seeing that interview with Chang and Violet Brown and just incredible interviews coming up. But today we're talking about all the uses of music in multimedia. They are more than ever, and it's an exciting time to be in the business. Matt, tell us about, like I say, some of the credits that you've built up and some of the opportunities you see out there for independent composers that can really fill the need.
Well, as you're saying, I do think there's quite a lot of opportunities out there, namely because of the expansive explosion of the internet. I don't think anybody realized it was going to be as big as it is, and it's just a place where grassroots types of movements can now take place. You don't have to walk door to door. You can hit a million people with one YouTube video, and that's the exciting thing. I think you get the kind of feedback that's indispensable from your peers or from audience, your audience out there. If they like a song, they're gonna watch it, and you're gonna get all the hits that that you're looking for. If they don't, they're not going to. And so before you used to have to play your songs to an A&R guy or some other person that maybe wasn't all that interested in what you had to say, and now you get to really reach your fans directly, and I think that's an exciting thing.
So I got a question. So as an independent composer, as yourself, and you look out in the marketplace, do you see that they're using YouTube and some of these places to actually find these composers. So, as a composer today, what is the model for going out and finding those kind of gigs? Because when I used to do it, we had to beat the door, have to know somebody or somebody in the music department,
Right.
someplace
Yeah.
to get it. But how is it done now? Is there a different model going on?
Well, I think that's a good question, and I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is all three, actually. I don't think it's strictly the social networks. I think that there is they play a big role. I mean, you couldn't, as I said before, you couldn't reach that many people from a YouTube video, but you still have to go out and meet people. I think that one of the things that we have suffered from this explosion with the internet is the virtual audience, the virtual friends, the virtual everything. We have to get back to the real people, real handshakes. Hey, that's what that guy actually looks like in person, not his avatar or whatnot.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what we were talking about. What's so great about IES is you actually get to get in front of people, talk to people, meet people. And you're right, that's something that's it's gone so far away now. So it's really the combination of knowing how being able to use the internet at the same time, but then also
Right.
how to use the kind of brick and mortar world and the ability to connect up with people.
Yeah, I think they work together. If you do too much of one thing, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the strengths of all of them combined.
Now, do you think there's any advantage to composers and arrangers for film and television to having audience and building those? I mean, is that, you know what I mean? As far as, is there any measurement that's being used, do you think, by the studios or by the people buying this stuff based upon the fan base of some of these artists nowadays, or that has nothing to do with it?
Well, I don't think anybody disagrees with 1 million likes or 1 million hits. And I know people that have virtually started companies, blogs, whatever, just from the kind of eye traffic that they get. And of course, that creates, draws attention to the advertisers. I mean, it's still about that. That's what it's all about, getting the advertisers to support it. And when you have that many likes and that many hits on whatever you're doing, it does create a buzz.
So online presence management still has a big place in even composers that are sort of behind the scenes doing film and television. It still is important because I guess as these music supervisors, people start looking for music, they go online, they see a lot of this popularity. Who's the expert? I guess it's the same in anything. If you become that expert, that helps you as far as being able to get more gigs.
It does. I think, but I think one of the most important components to all this stuff is music the music business is more than anything about relationships. I think any business is about relationships, and without those, I mean, a director will hire a composer or an editor or a Foley guy or whatever he wants to use. First, because the guy's got to be good enough or the girl's got to be good enough. But after that, it's going to be based on their working relationship and how they gel together and how they meld and create sort of a shorthand between them when they're working under deadlines. And that's why they get hired back again. So that's one of the things that I regret in my career, that I wasn't business savvy enough to realize it was a relationship business. I was concentrated more on the artist side. It was just like me, and
Right.
and just check me out and see how well I play and all that kind of stuff. But it is truly about the relationships, and those things can last a lifetime. I know several collaborators, directors, writers, composers, that they work with them their whole career. And so it's something that that's one of the things that I know you guys are doing with IES is you're promoting the relationship between all the different facets of the music community, and even beyond. I mean, even if it's graphics or even if it's acting or poetry or all these things can work together in a synergistic way based on the relationships that they are built on.
Well, you really can't have enough selling points, and I think a lot of these projects, they're looking to align as many selling points as possible. So if there's 2 composers or 2 actors or 2 musicians that are equal in talent, but one of them has a following online, they've got more credits, they're going to tend to go that way. And I think, like you say, it's so important to form those relationships, because again, when it comes down to a pinch and time and money and everything is on the line, they're going to go with what they know. So one of the hardest things is to break into the familiar zone with that decision maker. But once you get there, if you keep supplying that, again, they're going to go with that familiar thing. So
that's right.
There's opportunities to break in. Obviously, everybody was new at some point, but it's really, really important to form these relationships. That's what Chang was saying today is, with the internet, everybody wants a shortcut. A lot of the new talent coming up, how many likes do I need to get a record deal? Or how many views do I need to be a success? And they're missing the point when, when the dust clears, none of that matters as much as what you can deliver and who you know, and to build on that. Chang was working out of his mom's garage when he came up with the idea for his first show. Now he's putting on multi-million-dollar events all over the world, major tours. He's creating something from nothing. And that's what's really exciting about this age and time. There's less rules, but again, those that are in the know, they want to deal with what's familiar. So that's what's real exciting. So it's almost like anything. When it really breaks down to selling something, what are the selling points? And if it's great music and great acting, great this, but what are those intangibles? What are the other components that you can go deeper, to build that audience? And of course on TV, it's all about ratings. In a movie business, it's all about ticket sales. So, these are very, very important things. If they can sell 10% more tickets or get 20% more viewers because of the following or the social, attraction of any of these components, of course they're going to go with that.
Jay, I think there's another really important element to all this, especially for young musicians out there. Whether you're a songwriter, you're a budding artist, you want to be you want to get into the film world, whatever it is that you are aspiring to. As all the things we were talking about are referring to the internet and the size of the internet. It creates the danger of it creates you can actually meet people then you don't really know what to say when you meet them. First and foremost, music is a language. That's what it is. It's been referred to accurately as the universal language, but you have to know how to speak the language. You have to know how to speak to your audience in that language. You have to know how to write it. You have to know how to read it. And depending on how well you know your language, that's going to be the vehicle through which you communicate those ideas. And that's something where I could never stress enough about some sort of formal training, some sort of education, whether it's private instruction or if it's through a school or a number of schools, so that when you do get that opportunity, Lord willing, when that opportunity comes up, you've got something to say, because you only get one chance to make a first impression, and it's true. People will not call you back if you are not holding the goods. You get that door open and you're not cutting it, they won't call you again.
It goes fast. It can go really fast.
Yeah, they have a short memory.
I've seen
easy
it.
Come, easy
I've
go.
been there.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the whole idea is, again, to build that depth, to really be able to deliver and then build upon that. And again, the internet has made it real easy to, again, have these fake friends or fake relationships.
Right.
And the real powerful people in the industry are going to go with what they know, or like I say, if two things are equal, they're going to go with the one they have more of a relationship with.
That's right.
So
I would even take it even a little bit further. It's not only your relationship with them, it's the relationship you have with others. Because if you become the trusted source, then the people that are following you, that are around you, build credibility for you, right?
That's right.
It's like they say, they may not even know. They're going to look and they say, man, these two guys, but they're going to say, oh, look at sort of the endorsements of these other people. They're going to follow that. So a lot of at least what I found a lot of times is many times gigs have come out because of the people that I know more about than what they even know about me.
That's right.
So that's why building those relationships. I mean, everything is about relationships, because the relationship comes back to the new rule. If you own the community, you win. That's the whole thing. And niche communities can be around composers, arrangers, the whole 1,000 True Fan thing. I talk about this every week. 1,000 True Fans. You can start really making a living now by just cultivating and learning how to really communicate and talk to that smaller group of people, but building those relationships and then being able to solve problems, help them, create offers and things so that they actually get behind what you're doing. So yeah, it's fascinating. It all roads lead to the same thing now. Because of the internet, you're now down to relationships because you have these relationships online that go beyond just the time I met you at the at the cocktail party.
I think the roads always led to the same place. They're just a lot quicker these days.
That's
we have
a good
these
question.
super highways now, and or beam me up, Scotty, and you're instantly there. But the tried and true aspects of this industry or any business, be an honorable person. Your associates can be your best allies, or they can be your worst enemies. People want to work with people they like.
Yeah.
If they don't like you, no matter how good you are, they're not going to want to work with you.
And even more importantly, that now is more critical because you could have an issue with somebody and nobody knew.
Exactly.
Everybody knows.
And then
now.
a million people could.
Because transparency is the name of the game now.
That's
Nobody,
right.
I mean, it really kills me now when you look at the stuff that I feel so sad for so many of these kids that are putting so much stuff online when they don't realize that never goes away.
That's right.
What goes online stays online, and it can come back and punish you big time. So it's very critical. So it's no different if you're going to be a musician. You got to make sure you're bonding those right relationships, managing, nurturing, and manage that presence, which is going to be online. Because your new website, somebody says to me, I remember saying to the guy, I said, hey, you got a website? No, I don't have a website. I said, sure you do. Watch this. I type your name into Google and I hit send. Look you got thousands of websites. Mm-hmm. You're everywhere now. Mm-hmm. Some of them you'll see like 30, 50 pages about you, and wait a minute, I had nothing to do with this. I had no idea. I didn't put this up there.
Right.
So it's really critical, building those right relationships and maintaining that credibility.
It's so much important to look at the big picture. And again, if your goal is to build a career in music or entertainment or movies or TV, again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You've really got to strategically build your alliances, build your credits, and hopefully, like I say, take those in your direction. Getting on the playing field is not the goal, but to get a command of what your skills are and then to be able to take that in a direction and not only carves your identity and your credits further, but again, it creates your own lane to run in. And I think that's what's happening more and more out there. Offline, online, there's just tremendous opportunities. It's all becoming so many niches. Before we had the three big networks, and if you didn't fit into their format and play their games, you were outside. And then cable and then the internet, it's become thousands and thousands of opportunities. Maybe you don't have as many viewers because it's all kind of spread out. But again, each one of these can be an opportunity to create a career or form a company or build an alliance which can hopefully allow you to make a living at what you love to do. And I think that's one of the key things. Like Chang again today, I just again, hats off to Chang. It was an incredible interview. But again, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Yeah. And I think that's one of the goals. But in the entertainment business, it's so hardcore, so competitive, so cutthroat. It's hard to get into that lane. But if you create your own and people love what you do, again, you can build a very strong avenue. Again, our guest this week is Matt McGuire. He's from MusicWorks. He's got very extensive credits in the business. Our co-host is Scott Page. You know him from his incredible work with Pink Floyd and Supertramp, Duran Duran, Diana Ross. I mean, his credits go on forever. But Scott is on the cutting edge.
Can I have some of those credits?
He is
Scott, can I borrow
the
some
new
of those?
media high-tech guy. And again, you're the tip of the iceberg here, learning about IES. Again, you can go to IESFest, FEST.com, as short for festival, and get all the information. Registration is open for this year. It is August 7th through the 11th. It is the most in-depth, most comprehensive conference and festival in the world. We had people come in from 20 countries, all 50 states. It's even going to surpass that this year. The legends that we're going to talk about before we close, that we're going to honor this year, many will be in the house. Many people will be inspired and to build upon the success stories that we had last year. So many people have gotten tours and deals and collaborations and everything already. So it is incredible. And we want to, again, invite you to tune in to shows. watch the archives. Each week we have a very, very in-depth talk here, but at IES we go really deep, and it's a much more serious and interactive, with all the networking.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a clip right now. We had him on one of our last shows. This is Brian Shafton. He is one of the co-CEOs of the most incredible independent label group in the world today. They have nothing but platinum artists who have all left the major labels and are doing very, very big things independently. From Tech9, who is the biggest independent artist in America, he's selling millions of units without a record deal, without airplay, without mainstream media. You have E40, who's doing 20 times the business today that he did when he was on Warner Brothers a couple of years ago. Everybody from Too Short, DJ Quick, Bone Thugs and Harmony, list goes on and on. Here's some pearls of wisdom from Brian Shafton and RBC. You'll be seeing Brian and all his legendary crew at our very, very special tribute to Priority Records, to Tupac, to NWA, to Nate Dogg, Eazy-E, and everything. We got more news coming right back on the road to Hollywood. What are some of the other traits you're seeing in these guys that are being successful these days, independently?
So it's the touring, for sure. Yeah. Whether it's E40 that was just in Minneapolis yesterday and took my main buyer, Sonia, from Best Buy out to dinner, is a crucial thing. Tech9 being on the road, Webby doing his Chitlin circuit, that's crucial because you're out touching the fans, getting them excited, and excited enough to buy your music. Again, it's going to be the online component of the social networks, consistently talking to the fans and letting it be known. That's really where it's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. So you can't be away from the market too long. You got to give them constant information or updates.
With very few exceptions, can an artist have more than an 18-month reprieve from the market. If you eliminate, let's say, a Dr. Dre and an Eminem, there's very few examples of artists who have stayed out of the marketplace for more than 2 years and come back with a successful album. The only other one that I can think of off the top of my hand is one of my artists, Twista, who had that happen with his Kamikaze record, and that broke the rules. But if you are not active in the marketplace, not just by touring, not just by being online and on YouTube, but by actually releasing commercial products at least every 18 months, you're out of people's minds. Mm-hmm. And that's a major problem.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the online component, obviously there's a lot of reality shows, more and more of them are kind of moving online. Are any of your artists involved with any kind of weekly show or daily updates?
Yeah, Too Short's been on a ton of reality shows, and that's done well for us. We had another group called White Star, which was it was actually a rock group that we had that was like a Legends kid. So it was Lou Adler's kid, Roy Orbison's kid, the Allman Brothers kid, and they had a great reality show on VH1 as well. Like I said, Too Short's on a ton of them. Tech9 makes a lot of guest appearances. MTV2 just did When I Was 17, and Hollywood Squares, or those have done well. But again, it's the online stuff, because that's a destination purchase. People are typing that in, learning about it. And you can easily see the numbers, and it can be monetized. That's where it's happening. So even if you're not on your traditional television shows, get it going online, because there's a huge, huge opportunity there for everybody. Mm-hmm.
So obviously, the guys that are sitting at home thinking, I got to get a record deal, they're spending all their time trying to wine and dine, these A&R guys, trying to get them to sign them. What message do you have for them?
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. The music is crucial. I get a lot of people, hey, check out my music. It's like, I don't want to listen to your music unless I know you've already done a lot of the grind. What does that mean? It means you better have a lot of Facebook friends. It means you better have a lot of followers on Twitter. It must mean that you have interaction with these guys, that you're getting retweeted, that you're corresponding with them, and the fan base is corresponding with you. If you have those things on lock, then let's look at the music. But it makes no sense to start from zero. I'd rather have, I got the great opportunity to work with someone like Master P, who a lot of people are going to say isn't the best rapper. But he sold so many more records than anyone else. Why? Because he worked harder. So I want to see someone that's going to be able to put in that grind and have that work ethic almost more than the music. But you really need to have both. You need to have Tech Nine that's going to be out there 200 days, on his Twitter account constantly, and in the studio, and not getting much sleep. If you want to be successful, that's what you want to do. If you're going to constantly just send your music to these A&R guys, you already know what's going to happen. You're going to get a lot of unreturned phone calls.
Well, like you say, what's the story? So if you don't have a story, what do they have to take to their boss? A good song?
The music's hot.
Yeah.
It's a tough sell.
Right.
It's a tough sell.
You don't have a base.
It's a lot of building.
Yeah.
It's a lot of building.
Yeah. Well, obviously at IES this year, one of the many tributes that we're doing is to Priority Records. Legendary label, started very, modestly with the California Raisins, and, all of a sudden Jerry Heller and Eric Wright walked through the door. Tell us about your greatest memories about the machine and what it was like at the peak.
Wow. I mean, it's so many memories. Such a wonderful trip. It's one of those things that, I was able to appreciate it while it was happening, despite the fact that it was just beyond recognition. To be at the forefront of a brand new genre of music coming out that was not embraced by everyone. As a matter of fact, it was hated upon by most people. The retailers did not want to stock the product in the stores. Once they did, they wanted to put it behind the register. Then they didn't want to hold it for any length of time because they didn't think it was a catalog business. So it was fighting all of these people and eventually showing that we can win. It was having the relationships with the artists like a Eazy-E, like a Ice Cube, like a Snoop Dogg, like Jay-Z for his first album, like Master P, learning this, seeing what it took to go from 0 to 1 million. And literally just having success after success after success there was unbelievable. But it didn't come without a price. It came with major hard work, dedication, preparation, and making sure everything was lined up so that you could sell. None of this happens by coincidence. It has to have structure and a game plan, because without it, you're just not in business. And those are some of the things that I personally took away from Priority. Needless to say, what I most value are the friendships that I had made, and I continue to keep throughout all the years. As a matter of fact, about 80% of our office has its roots at Priority. So, that's very near and dear to us. It's a real family, and we take it real seriously, and a great bunch of people that came together and made history.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pit Bull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Thank you so much to Brian Shaft and Ben Grassi, Jacori, and everyone at RBC. Absolutely phenomenon in the business. They're responsible for 10% of all urban music sold in America independently today, which is completely a great success story. You're going to meet these guys at IES. You're going to be able to hear the trade secrets that they and people like Violet Brown, who's earned over 700 plaques in her day, of how they have created superstars without major labels, without huge budgets, and more importantly, utilizing the creativity and the technologies that are available today to all of us. So we feel that it's really multi-millions of dollars worth of knowledge going down in these 80 intense, in-depth workshops, seminars, networking sessions. You can't miss it. Again, as Brian so eloquently said, Priority was in a massive, massive success, from introducing the world to Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Master P, Jay-Z, so many of the absolute legends that are out there today. We are doing a reunion. One of our case studies of a success story this year will be the legendary Priority Records, and we're going to bring a lot of those players back into IES that actually created the phenomenon. and really influenced a generation. And among that, we're going to do a special tribute to the NWA album, Straight Outta Compton. We're going to bring in the original producers, the engineers, the people that were behind the scenes, that made the videos, that put that together and launched the legendary careers of course, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella, and so much of what we know today in urban music. Also paying tribute this year is a very, very special tribute to the late, great Tupac, Nate Dogg, and Eazy-E. You can just imagine the legends of the Be in the House for that. And we're also paying tribute, of course, to some of the great influential artists and trailblazers of our time, Cypress Hill, DJ Quick, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Bun B, Warren G, and many, many more. After our next session, we'll tell you all about the IES Rock Honors and some of the incredible trailblazers that we're going to be honoring this year. We even trying to pull a special few favors and special guests.
Don't tell them. Don't.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about IES and really the business today is it's what you make it. You can't sit there and wait for a guarantee or an expectation, or if I do this, am I going to get that? It's really very much an entrepreneurial, cooperative type of business. So as great as you can prepare yourself, get your skills in check, start to build your team, extend your credits and your network out there. Of course, what we do at IES is expand. We're covering all of independent entertainment, and that's music and movies and TV and comedy and DJs and dance and acting. And, to us, it's really, it's since we've lost almost all the major record companies, it's down to 2. We've lost most of the major film studios, it's down to a handful, and then everybody else is independent. Even in the TV world, you've got, just a very small handful of networks, and everybody else is extremely independently minded networks, production companies. In a minute, more and more of the entertainment you're going to be viewing is on your cell phone. So really the opportunities are endless. Again, our special guest this week is Matt McGuire. He is the head of MusicWorks. He's got some incredible credits and knowledge for you. And of course, our partner in crime, Scott Page. We're talking about music and all the incredible opportunities in multimedia out there. What are some of the other opportunities you see, Matt, out there for filmmakers and people with ideas for reality shows and concepts for entertainment that were never there before?
Well, there are a lot more opportunities than there used to be. Ever since I think it started with the writer's strike, that kind of the whole reality television thing bloomed, and I think I'm hoping personally that the quality of reality television gets up there, and that's because I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great venue. You don't need a whole lot to produce something like that, but you have a good story. I mean, we're story-oriented people. Yep. It's always about the story.
Well,
and
buddy, you and me are going to get along just fine. I eat, drink, sleep that one.
Yeah. So if you have good stories out there, which everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a few stories, and we have the opportunity to get them out there. Then that's gonna be the kind of thing that is gonna, I think, up the ante for the present condition of reality television, which a lot of it I feel could use a facelift. Maybe that's a gentle way of saying it.
So as far as the shows, we didn't really talk about that. What shows have you been doing? What are all the things you've worked on?
Well, I started out a lot with animation, and so I did things like, well, the most recent one that's going on right now. I have a bunch of shows that are airing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, they're the company that did the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, as well as the Ninja Turtles, and they've got like Sonic X and Chaotic, Wings Club, Shaman King, G.I. Joe, F-Zero, goes on and on. And so I did a lot of work with those guys, and so a lot of shows are on every week. They're on the Fox. Actually, it's CW now. I think it's called the CW Vortex, which Saban just took.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How much stuff? I remember doing Saban dates over his little place on Ventura Boulevard years ago.
Yeah, and I never worked with him. This is they just bought the 4Kids company. 4Kids was under they hit the wall. They filed Chapter 11 rather, and so Saban came in and recently took over that contract. And so, but I myself am pursuing more films and that kind of thing, because it's just a different venue for the music and another way to express yourself.
Well, I mean, I've always heard from a lot of composers that were doing a lot of animation in the days that it's really a place to build your chops.
Yeah.
Because this is like where you got tons of sight gags that you got to hit, and there's a lot of work, and you got to really make it happen. So it's really actually a great way to build your chops. Right?
Yes, it really is. There's. It's I think it's good and bad. I mean, in animation, if somebody blinks, blink, you play the blink, or if they turn around, it's almost like a kung fu movie where the guy picks up the phone, and you have all the sound effects, everything gets hit. But then when you get into live action where there's actual acting, although I must say that like the latest animation stuff coming out of DreamWorks and stuff, their characters their facial expressions are really way different worlds away from what they used to be. Yeah. So they're really carrying it now. But you can do less music, and it's less utilitarian.
I mean, it really becomes the art form, because I studied composing and arranging with a guy named Earl Hagen, you might have remembered, the great film composer and stuff. And it was always the thing about like, well, does the music start before the gunshot, when the gunshot, or after?
Yeah.
And it's like that really becomes the thing, because it changes the entire piece of the music. I mean, a piece of music can make a scene come alive. I mean, it's incredible. The guys that really need the credit are the editors and these sound guys that can actually take some terrible picture and actually make it work. It's incredible.
That's true. And unfortunately, it was well said about the gunshot, whether it happens before, during, or after. With animation, it was always right on it. So we never had the ability to explore the other ways. It was like, what happened to the gunshot? Oh, well, I played it before. No, it's not working. You have to do it right on it. So that's something that you can explore those different opportunities with more like live action, like film.
And so you did a lot of animation. What else have you done? What other areas?
I've done more recently. I've gotten into films. I think it was last year. We completed a documentary called Mulberry Child. Susan Morgan Cooper is the director. I worked on that with Kyle Eastwood. He's a friend of mine. I was in his band. We actually, did a bunch of gigs. We recorded back when Sony, on the Sony Columbia label, and so we did a bunch of things, and so now we're doing some films together, and that was the most recent one. And I've done. Let's see. I have to put my glasses on. Yep. I've actually done a few. Bollywood movies. They're actually.
What's that like?
Well, when my friend first called me up to do a Bollywood movie, I thought, it's going to be all this like multicolored dresses and all that kind of stuff. Right. and that was in there, but it wasn't all about that. They were actually. I mean, one of these films had 6,000 plus cast. So it's these are like serious films, and they're epic, and they're good. And Slumdog Millionaire kind of brought all that to the limelight for folks here.
What's so funny about it? People don't realize that Bollywood is like much bigger than Hollywood.
They produce I don't know what the ratio is, but many more films than Hollywood does.
And on a global basis, they have a massive. It's incredible. I mean, I forget, somebody was telling me the numbers, and I had no idea that it was that big of a deal, because we always think of Hollywood, right? The movie industry, Hollywood. Now, Bollywood is actually a place where there's a lot more going on than meets the eye.
Yeah, exactly. So when I started doing those films, it was an eye opener to the kind of production that I wasn't really expecting.
Well, it's really become a global business, and of course the internet has really opened that up. But again, so much of this entertainment can be produced low budget, like of course they do in Bollywood, and got out to the people, and it's opened up so many more avenues for us to learn from. It's again an idea that you can dream of, as long as you can execute it and get out there and sell it. Anything is possible. And we're seeing that more and more from all the changes, the radical change in television. There's just when you thought there was no more ideas for reality show, there's another 40 shows coming. So it's really incredible. We're running out of time this week, but Matt, we really appreciate you coming down. We really look forward to having you come on IES and really let these developing talents know, some of the groundwork that they've got to do. And, we're talking a little more informally on our show, but at IES, we really get in depth in these workshops and really get down to the moves they can make, some of the success stories and how they did it. And, of course, we're bringing in a lot of people from all areas of the business to really spur those collaborations, build the relationships, really develop your craft, and really find out what you do best. And, we really encourage you, again, go to the website. It's iesfest.com. No matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are in the States, it's a small trip to get this amount of knowledge. And if you absolutely can't be there, there's a video pass, but there's nothing like being right there one-on-one and creating those relationships. A little success story is one of our artists that came to IES this year is the only independent artist that just got chosen to play at the Paid Dues Festival. And again, you'll be seeing Shane Weisberg in a future show talking about the incredible opportunity that they built. But hats off to First Dirt, Timothy Rhyme, 60 East, amazing artist. They've got indie power behind them. They've won the contest to be on Paid Dues. They're on fire. They've set up a complete international or coast-to-coast tour on their own independently and expect great things. Again, it's August 7th through the 11th. A little bit of heads up. You can see it more on the website. But this year, some of the rock artists that we're honoring, and that will be August 10th, part of the whole 5 days. On the IES Rock Honors this year, we are inducting Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads' family is going to be there in paying tribute. Ozzy Osbourne's career, he really owes that to the spark of the legendary guitarist Randy Rhoads and the incredible music that lives on 30-some years now after Randy's untimely death, but also, Ozzy's band Black Sabbath, who is back together this year and doing amazing things on a reunion tour. So Ozzy, Randy Rhoads, Black Sabbath, we're inducting the Foo Fighters and Nirvana. We look forward to celebrating the incredible energy, of Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain and the, awesome band that, started it all. And of course, what Dave has built on. And we're going to be talking in future shows about the Sound City documentary. We're honoring Dave with the documentary of the year, what he's done. And, Scott Page and a lot of us on the team have Sound City stories.
Big time.
We're also inducting Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Blink-182, and many more. Hopefully have Motley Crue there. And these are legends. These are trailblazers. These are people that sold millions and millions of records, but more importantly, have sparked generations of bands and artists seeking their own. And very special this year on Rage Against the Machine is we're doing we call it a case study of a success story. And this is where we go inside the making of an iconic album or band or label. And last year we did Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. This year we're doing the original Rage Against the Machine debut album, which is just celebrating its 20th anniversary. And we're bringing together Garth Richardson, the original producer, the mixers, the people, the band members, the videographers, the guys that did the mixes and all that. And we're going to talk about how they captured lightning in a bottle and sent shockwaves through the culture, counterculture, underground, mainstream, whatever you call it, what they've built since then. And some really great sessions planned. So don't miss it. Is IES. Here's a little parting words for you. We look forward to seeing you next week on another great Road to Hollywood.
Hey, what up? This is Corey from Slipknot.
This is Matt Sorum from Velvet Revolver.
What's up? It's your boy Mac 10.
Hey, this is Mike Inez from Alice in Chains.
What's up? This is Be Real from Cypress Hill.
What's up? I'm Sean from Yellow Card.
It's your boy Warren G.
I'm Brooks Wackerman from Bad Religion.
Hey, yo, this is Method Man.
This is Mick Jones from Foreigner.
I got a question for you. Are you serious about moving your creative career forward? Then you need to be at IES.
If you're a musician out there, you got a band, you want to rock, don't sit down on your ass and wait for someone to knock on your door.
You can do it yourself. Don't wait for nobody. Do your thing, man. Life is short. You only live once.
Totally independent, and I love it.
Everything's important about the indie world. It has been for a long time.
You got more control, and you make 10 times as much money. 10 times more money.
Don't wait for the record label. Do it yourself.
People need to hear the music that's in your head, that's in your fingers, that's in your heart. So get out there and let's hear it.
Because of the internet and because of the greed of those old school executives at these record companies, the power is now in your hands, artists.
Take back your art and don't sell yourself cheap or short to anyone.
If you believe in your music, if you believe in your gift, if you believe what God has given you, make sure you go to IES, show the world what you got. It's going to be going down here in Los Angeles, and it's something that gets all you independent artists getting going on that drive, doing what you guys got to do, man.
Be independent. Don't be afraid to be independent.
You got to be a part of doing you first, and that means independence. I implore you to go to the IES, the Independent Entertainment Summit, and do your thing.
If you think you know what you're doing in this music business, I don't care who you are, there are things you will learn.
The indie way is the way. You know, the large corporations have basically disintegrated. They're looking to the indie community to create the music and create the genesis of what's going to be the next environment.
If you've started a new band and you're having a little bit of trouble figuring out where to go next or what you should be doing, who you should be talking to, whether you need a record label or how to get your music distributed, you need to go to the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the place where you go to meet industry panel experts. So they're going to tell you everything you need to know to get you where you want to be. For me, I spend all of my days and months going around the world educating musicians on how they can better actually release their music and market their music. Part of my mission, it's part of the way that we can grow the music business. So I'm going to go at all the important summits that I can go to, and the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be one of the places that I'll be. You want to be educated? You want me to help educate it? You better be there.
If you rap, sing, dance, model, DJ, or act, or like myself do comedy, you can't afford to miss this conference.
You're trying to do your thing in this business, and you're tired of waiting on somebody to help you. In August, come to LA, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
You know what time it is, man. It's that time, Rolex time. Chasing cash, get money, get care. Shout out to Hit Boy, G-Rock, Money Making Man, Stacy B, and Circa. And we here with the Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Y'all need to be here, man. It's in LA in August, man. Beautiful people here, man, dropping knowledge, dropping gems about this new way to pursue this music and a new way to get this money, man.
It's the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the IES, baby.
Very important place to be if you want information to take things to the next level. You may not have access to the internet. It's okay, too. Go there. You have an opportunity, IES.
Write it, rap it, produce it, mix it, arrange it, rap it, sell it. That gives you the power.
Every second that you're sitting on your butt waiting for something good to happen, your competition is passing you by. So if you got a dream, go and fight for it and support Indie Entertainment Summit.
I need y'all to come out to my city and represent with the Entertainment Indie Summit. It's going down August 1st through the 5th. If you're an independent artist, you're an independent label, you want to get your music out there, you want to network, come out to Los Angeles.
All you gotta do is, if you want to blow up in this industry, go to IES conference in LA, Google it, you gotta be there.
Showcases, panels, opportunities, everything that Indie Entertainment Summit does is something that is very much for today's music industry. We know how it used to be, but we don't know how it's going to be tomorrow. But I think the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be an opportunity for motivated, ambitious professionals to meet each other.
Music business is a hard thing to break into.
So you gotta do what you can. Check out IES, Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you're gonna be anywhere, you need to be at IES, man, in LA, man. That's where it's gonna be at.
It's going down just like that, August 1st through the 5th. IES, man.
If you ain't going to IES, you ain't gonna live to be an artist. You know why? IES, feed your mind, feed your soul. Get a good lawyer. They'll teach you which way to go.
If you're serious about your music, where do they need to be? You
gotta be at IES, yo.
What's that?
Indie Entertainment Summit.
You should check it out at IES.com. Hopefully this will become an annual event that we'll all be going to many years from now.
You need to be out to IES.
That's IES, baby.
Going down August 1st through the 5th.
You have to check out IES. IES, show the world what you got.
Ain't no excuses. It's now or never.
It's your chance to show the world what you've got.
IES.
I hope I see you there.
Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Circa, we gonna be there.
Indie motherfucking Entertainment Summit. Be there, Jack.
IES. Look for it online. The Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you really think you got what it takes to stand out, you really want to make sure you stand out, you can show the world what you got at the IES, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
IES, it's going to be here in Los Angeles.
Entertainment capital of the world. If you ain't there, you're nowhere.